Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maximo and I'm here checking out Battle Rockets, which is apparently an exclusive? Okay. Not very often we see that, but I'll give it a look anyway. So, this is actually going to be a little different because the absolute majority of this game is actually multiplayer. And by multiplayer, I don't mean online multiplayer, I mean on the same console multiplayer. So I'm not really going to be able to impressively demonstrate how that works, but I'll give it a try anyway. Just while we're here, we might as well go look at the settings. And this menu was freaking weird. You have to move the analog stick in the directions that are like listed on the analog stick over on the left there. And sometimes it doesn't feel like the direction corresponds with what it is you're actually trying to press. Nevertheless, the options are all pretty basic. Notably, you have to navigate using the left analog stick and use the D-pad because that is how the controls work in this game. Player 1 uses the D-pad as their shoot buttons and the analog stick as their movement. Same thing for player 2, but they use the right analog stick and the face buttons. And notably, the shoulder buttons are actually the pause buttons, which is bizarre because it seems like it'd be really easy to hit them accidentally if you're trying to hold the Vita a certain way in order to actually play this game, but yeah, never mind. So, the main mode, of course, is the multiplayer, where you can pick any one of 8 characters, and you start. Now, notably, the game actually looks like it's supposed to be played like this, in the sense that you're holding the Vita landscape and pressing like, you're holding the Vita landscape and you're pressing the buttons above the analog sticks, but instead, and don't mind the fact that my mouse is moving in and changing the rotation of the screen here, it's probably supposed to be played more like this, where you hold the Vita like in portrait mode while someone else holds it the other way, because since you move with the analog stick, the shoot buttons actually make a bit more sense in this setup. So you press up in your general direction, like you press forwards, because it's weird, you know, like pretend I'm holding this in portrait mode, which is what I'm doing. The controls are you press up in portrait mode to fire straight. Down is usually some kind of special attack reserved for that particular character. Left is an 8-way weak attack, and right is a constant stream of bullets. And the idea is you just gotta hit the player, well, the other player I should say, with as many of these attacks as possible in order to get their health down. And it's also worth noting that bullets can destroy other bullets. So, if you find yourself like, hang on, I just gotta try and get this in the right position. It's really hard because the analog sticks are extremely sensitive, but as you can see here, bullets destroy other bullets. So it basically just turns into like a crazy sort of not battle royale, bullet hell fight, where honestly nothing seems to make that much sense, and dealing damage is just kind of random, and it's not helped out by the fact that the health bars are actually pretty goddamn long. Like seriously, you need to deal so much damage in order to actually end a fight. Like I'm just holding the button that lets out a massive amount of bullets here, and it just, yeah, it takes an age. Let me just reset the rotation. So you can choose to rematch once you lost. So that was the first mode, which is basically just shoot until they die. You've also got cash grab. Wrong button, sorry. You've also got cash grab. Alright, gotta confirm now we start. Cash grab. Now, there will be things flying in from the sides, little money bags, and if you manage to shoot them, money pops out, and the person who manages to hold on to the most money at the end of the 60 seconds will win. If we press L and R, it eventually lets us quit. And you also got short fuse. So yeah, basically the first person who gets a hit, more or less. Best of 5, I presume. Or best of... oh. I guess even if a winner is already determined, it just goes on anyway. But yeah, that's the basic set of multiplayer modes, and I'm gonna be honest, it just feels a bit lackluster. The controls are, as I said, oversensitive and kind of hard to control. You do barely any damage as a result because it needs to like not be over within a couple of seconds. And it just seems not particularly fun to play, if I'm being perfectly honest, because every match seems to be a drawn-out slog of just throwing out random bullets and hoping that you eventually hit the enemy. But they do kind of work around this by giving you some single-player challenges. Unfortunately, they're all garbage. So the idea is that you've got these 8 different challenges. They all do the gameplay in a certain sort of way. And you just kind of need to, well, go and do them, especially if you want all the trophies, because 8 of the trophies are finishing 8 of these challenges. Now, the smart among you might be thinking something along the lines of, well, why didn't they just include, like, an AI for the player to practice against? And then you play this challenge here, which is the first challenge, and it turns out to be some of the worst AI I've ever seen. It acts almost like those logos on those DVD players that are just constantly like bouncing around. So it's just constantly either in the corner or charging down at you. The bullet patterns not only seem to be entirely random, but it actually breaks the rules of the game, because on the Vita D-pad, you can't actually do like 2 different types of shots at the same time. Like, you can see here that this girl's doing her special attack, which is like backwards or down on the D-pad if you're holding it in portrait mode. But she's also doing her precise shots, which is up on the D-pad when you're holding it in portrait mode. And you can't actually press those 2 directions at the same time. So the girl's actually cheating. So this is absolutely the best AI that I've ever seen in a fighting game ever. But yeah, the description says that in that particular challenge, you're meant to bring them both down to 50% HP. Like, look, this is challenge 1. Can they blast each other to 50 HP and complete the exercise? But once you get both characters to 50 HP. Oh, god damn it, I read that wrong. Whatever, I don't really care. So there are more challenges, of course, but honestly, a lot of them are kind of ridiculous. Like this one here, it's literally just this guy does a bloody, like, snake-ish, square-ish pattern, and you just need to avoid it for a while shooting him. And it's really, really long. Small talk. It's literally just, don't use any of your really big attacks. Just use, like, your stream. So that also takes a really long time. Chart toppers is a little weird because you gotta just consistently like block all of the bullets going on here, which is actually really easy to do. And this starts a pattern of these challenges being really easy to do. Like number 5 is crossplay, which is a little weird one. This is the only one that requires use of both analog sticks. You basically just need to get both characters to the middle of the maze. But they've made the maze, like, extremely hard to go down, like, precisely on purpose. So you just kind of have to wiggle your way through. But it's not hard, it's just frustrating. Because you just got to wiggle them through this absolutely tiny area. Challenge number 6 is relatively similar. But it's just one character this time. And you just got to get to the end of the maze. And the end of the maze is that girl in the middle, which I just did. Challenge number 7 is just a single player version of the cash game we played. And challenge number 8, again, has that ridiculous AI that just randomly does shit and flies around like a random thing while you're also playing the cash grab mode. Except this goes on forever because you need to get $7.77 and you're constantly being shot by the AI's ridiculously random patterns. You will get there eventually if you just keep the fire up, but it's just intensely boring. So you got 5 challenges that are stupid easy. The rest that aren't particularly easy, but you can still probably do them by bashing your head against the wall a little bit. And that's it. That's the entirety of the content of the game. They did not give you anything else. There's no AI for you to fight. There's no customizability in any sense of the word. Obviously no online, but that one I can't really blame them for. This sort of game won't work great online, I'll tell you that much. Not even ad hoc. Like, ad hoc would actually work pretty well for this, but in this case, they just decided not to. And all the other things about it, like how it looks like the game's designed to be played while being held in landscape mode, but it's really more meant for portrait mode. And there's like no story except for those little synopsises on the challenges, which is odd. Is there like an in-game manual for this? There is. How weird is that? Oh, I see. It's a Neptunia plot. Oh, so these are supposed to be based after consoles, so... Vita, I suppose? Oh yeah, live in area. That would be the Vita, wouldn't it? The Furo is definitely the PlayStation 4. 2D and 3D? Okay. This is clearly meant to be the Switch and the Wii U. The Xbox and... Who on earth is that supposed to be on the left? I have no idea. Not very often you actually get one of these manuals. Forward Soft, I've heard of them before. Didn't they do something else on the Vita? Yeah, they did something. I'd be lying if I said it came to me right now, but... Yeah, that's basically everything you get. And I wouldn't recommend it in the slightest. It's not very satisfying to play. That's the main reason. Like, bloody Windjammers has lasted, what, 20-something years? But that's because that game was satisfying to play. This game, I don't see it lasting too. Especially since it's on the Vita. It's probably going to end up on the Switch in 6 months, and this version will be completely forgotten about. Maybe that version will even have some better AI, at which point this game will be completely and utterly worthless. I'm going to go and play at least a half-decent game now. I really haven't. Oh man, I thought this would be fun. I thought this would be a nice little excursion into what the Vita's been up to since I haven't been paying attention to it in the last few weeks. And Mechorama, Super Destronaut, and Battle Rockets all turned out to be crap. The only half-decent one is Rush Rover, which I'm going to go do a video on now. But anyway, this has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.